Serene Cyclist by Salman Shahid Khan. I used to live in Cambridge a while back, which is a small city smack in the middle of England, best known for the university that is as large as the city itself. But I was here for work. I had a few friends around the city, and Cambridge being a very green city, it is the Cambridge way to cycle to most places. I would mostly visit my friends in the evenings, and we would stay up till late, not socializing or drinking, but playing games, musing philosophically, and finding other means to continue our existence. On the nights this continued particularly long, I would have to cycle back halfway across the city, often in cold, and this was usually quite pleasant. Cambridge is a quiet, safe city, and I generally enjoy being out in the dark alone under the yellow of the night lights. It was one of those nights, though, that I met what felt to me like the devil himself. It was another one of those long, quiet lamplit roads on a particularly chilly February night. I was halfway home and slightly wary of it being 3 a.m. This was late even by my standards, and this put me on a somewhat edge. My senses seemed to be more alert than usual, and I was unconsciously keeping an eye on every shadow on the street, trying to avoid as many alcohol-fueled incidents as I could. As I turned into a street that told me it was not very far from where my apartment was located, I started to feel much more peaceful. It was halfway across the street biking at my leisure that I noticed a man in a dark jacket cycling around 20 feet in front of me. My senses suddenly sharpened again, due to the simple fact that him seeming to appear out of nowhere. Perhaps I had not been paying as much attention as I thought I was. The man was cycling quite slow, and even while barely pedaling, I slowly started to draw near him. It also started to get quieter on the street. It took me a few moments to realize that I could not hear the man's bike or many mechanical clinking sounds my bike often made. The quiet was eerie. That should have warned me. But not heeding what now seems like a very obvious warning, I kept cycling closer to the man, and I found his speed quite peculiar, even more so than his dark attire, and so as I drew nearly level one, glanced at his body. And so as I drew near, I glanced at his body. I say his body because his face was not very human. It was made of what can only be described as shadow, and with eyes that seemed like the very depths of hell themselves. One look left me lifeless, motionless, speechless, riding down the slope right next to him, too scared to move, too scared to act, and worst of all, I was unable to take my eyes off of his. "This way is closed," he said in a growling voice that made my hair stand on end. "This way is closed. Go back." That was all he said, but with those words, the hold its eyes, had over me was broken. I managed to find some life in my hands, and I braked as hard as I could, letting him get ahead of me. He continued to cycle ahead at his eerie slow pace, and then, as mysteriously as he had appeared in front of me, he was gone. He simply disappeared, unhurriedly, into the shadows at the end of the street. The rest of the way back home was a fight against my own body. My mind would not stop reeling in the horror it had just experienced, and my heart was in my throat, unwilling to go down. I could not think, I could not rationalize, and I had no refuge. I could hear again. I could hear the wind in my ears, the clunking of the pedals as my as I cycled as fast as I could, and unfortunately for me, I could hear someone riding a bike a little behind me. When I finally got home, I threw my bike and rushed into the first floor apartment. Refusing to look at what was surely there, I could still hear footsteps following me up the stairs, but I refused to acknowledge them as I rushed into my room as fast as I could and into the refuge of my bed. I could still see shadows under my front door as I finally decided to go to bed. They refused to go away. A true story from 3:49 a.m. 25th of February 2012. This is a part of a collection of real-life horror stories and memoirs currently being collected and compiled by Salman Shahid Khan. For more, please visit and follow the writer's blog, whose link will be in the description below. This was Serene Cyclist by Salman Shahid Khan. Hello, my beautiful nightmare seekers. Sirrmo B here with a little announcement instead of his usual breakdown of the story. Seeing as I am planning on more playlists and multiple kinds of stories, I realize it might be annoying if you have to hear my own analysis of every story I read. Now, of course, you may tell me if you do not think this is true in the comments below. That is your own opinion. But as for now, I will stop giving these after credit speeches, and you will find my personal opinion and a breakdown of the story in the description below under all contact information necessary to get out of a copyright claim. So, that is it for now. Hope you enjoyed the story. Tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you would have done to make it better. And as always, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the monsters bite. And enjoy the madness. Always watching.